Overwatch Apex Season 2, energized by HOT6, Round Robin. Today's matchup, CONBOX Spirit, KongDoo Uncia.
And welcome to Overwatch Apex Season 2. I am Do. With me is Monte Cristo as usual. And today, it's KongDoo Day.
It's KongDoo's Day.
Tuesday?
Yes, exactly.
I'll take it. All right, sure. CONBOX Spirit versus KongDoo Uncia in our first best of 5 of the night. And then KongDoo Panthera versus Runaway will finish things off. Should be an awesome day of Overwatch, of course. I gotta say, though, this first match looking like it might end up being a bit one-sided, huh?
I have to agree with you. CONBOX is coming off a 1-3 loss against Cloud9, where outside of that first control map, which a Western team still has yet to win so far in this season of Apex.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah, they looked pretty underwhelming. Even with the addition of Twilight this season, the departure of Zunba, I think, really did hold them back. And I have a lot of questions about them, whether they're going to be able to play something beyond triple tank in the current meta.
Yeah.
But KongDoo Uncia coming back from their semifinal performance last season, looking super strong, taking out last season's finalist Africa Blue 3-1.
Yeah, and they look good doing it, too. I mean, I think a lot of that was partially Africa's issues as a team right now. They seem to kind of have some big things they need to work out on. KongDoo did a great job, taking advantage of that. But if you look at Africa Blue and you look at CONBOX Spirit, like the issues that Africa Blue had still weren't anything compared to what CONBOX Spirit seems to be dealing with right now. I think their 2 DPS are pretty good. I mean, Myunghoon and Liz seem to be pretty decent together, yet they somehow managed to get another Zarya Alt Reflect into a Tracer Bomb combo. Like, I don't know how a team does that twice, let alone even like once, but they managed to pull it off. So those guys have some talent, but even with the addition of Twilight, like you said, he's a good Ana player, but they need more than that,
Yeah, also, at least Sleepy Bear did show up on Roadhog in that first map against Cloud9. He was actually probably the standout player in the map that they won.
Yeah.
But other than that, I agree. You haven't seen that same level of synergy so far.
Very true. Well, here's how our groups are shaking out so far. You can see Meta Athena and Lunatakai with 2 wins already in Group A and B, and now today, more matches from Group C and D. Some team's going to join the 2-winner club. Might be KongDoo Uncia a little bit later. We'll see. And I can't wait till our second match of the day, honestly, man. I mean, KongDoo Panthera versus Runaway should be action-packed.
It should be really good. I do have questions about KongDoo Panthera moving to this patch, but Runaway, what a great team for the particular patch that we're on right now.
Yeah.
They have 3 incredibly solid DPS players. They have an incredible amount of flexibility, and with a number of compositions that they've shown off both in the qualifiers and in their first match here in Apex, I think they're really a dark horse to go deep in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention the fact that HOT6 looks even better on Genji this season than he did last season, which is hard to believe because he looked pretty amazing, but he looked even better last match.
I mean, I think it helps that he has so much more room to play Genji when Cox and Stitch have been such great threats in their own right. It's harder just to focus down HOT6, so opens up a lot more room for him to play that Genji and really specialize on it, particularly when he is not required to change heroes as much as the other players, considering that Cox sort of serves that flex role much better.
Yeah, and these are big matches, too, for Group C and D. Of course, each team only plays against the other teams in their group once. So, even losing a match can have a big impact on where you stand at the end of the season. So I think KongDoo Uncia, as you can see, in a pretty great spot in their group. If they can take down CONBOX Spirit today, and if they can do it, without losing too many games in the process, they can put themselves in a great position to go, at worst, 2-1 if they lose against Cloud9.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at where KongDoo Uncia is right now, it is difficult to believe that they would lose against C9 in the current state, but we'll have to wait and see for that final match to take place in that group. But I'm really excited about KongDoo Uncia. I think they showed a lot of depth, really good synergy, and their major roster move. So they sort of did some hero swapping for primary heroes and then made a roster move as well, bringing Butcher on.
Right.
So Butcher, though, taking up for Fatal and changing his role to more of that off tank, and he has been doing a wonderful job on Zarya in particular.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, he played a decent amount of D.Va too, but now that D.Va's kind of fallen away a little bit because of the patch changes, I think Zarya is going to be the go-to hero at this point. And they did shuffle around Dance and Birdring a little bit too. We saw Birdring playing a lot of the Soldier 76 last week. Dance now playing a lot of the Roadhog and doing a great job with it. So it's cool. It's actually really encouraging to see a team do this because you know they can still play those old picks. So they just have a really high amount of flexibility right now, which they haven't really needed to pull out yet, but down the line, I think they're going to make good use of.
And it seems like they were really well prepared for this patch because Dance is still going to be able to go back to that Tracer, and then we'll have, in addition to the Soldier from Birdring, also looking at that Genji moving forward. So dive comps have been all the rage, and this is a team that you know with Butcher on that Zarya, and then having that flexibility to play the Genji and Tracer at the same time is well set up to be on this patch.
Yeah, and if we look at the other side, if we look at CONBOX Spirit, I think one thing I really want to see from them today is just a little bit more cohesion as a team as they're approaching an objective. They did a lot of weird, like, roundabout sort of long paths to get to objectives, and they did them, you know, it looked like they were setting up for pushes that needed 2 or 3 ults when they didn't have any ults at all. And then they would have those ults and just kind of all jump in the front and throw them in every which direction. And there just wasn't much coordination, and it didn't work out. Let's learn a little bit more about them.
클라우드9과 했던 경기가 연습했던 것처럼 나오지 않아서 만족스럽진 않은데 뭐 특별한 선수가 까다로웠다기보다는 저희 팀이 부족했기 때문에 졌다고 생각합니다.
하다 오히려 있고
자, 시간이
비비로 나오죠.
세 명인가요?
아프리카 블루전에서 딜러 리크라이 선수랑 아르한 선수 두 분이 워낙 잘하셔가지고 약간 놀랬습니다.
이거 대지면서 가까워요. 주고받고 굳이 안 뺏게 생겼어요. 네, 진짜 그 자체 잘해요. 바닥까지 좋아요.
콩도 은시아 지난 시즌에 잘했기 때문에 약간의 걱정은 앞서고 또 탱커 선수가 라인아웃을 잘하기로 유명하고
C9하고 콤박스하고 하는 경기를 봤는데 그냥 감수 선수만 보였어요.
한번 겨뤄봐서 이겨보고 싶습니다.
콤박스전에서는 제가 감수 선수만 바꿔두고 딜러지는 저희 운시아가 훨씬 출중하기 때문에 딜러 싸움으로 유도하면 될 것 같습니다.
특히 콩도시아는 굉장히 좀 안정적이네요. 서로의 시너지가 나는 그런 모습이 나오고 있는데 팀워크 확실히 좋았습니다.
이번 콩도 은시아의 경기에서 저희가 준비해야 될 것은 뭔가 슈퍼플레이나 특별한 조합이 아닌 기본기를 다진다면 저희의 본 모습을 보여드릴 수 있을 것 같습니다.
팀 전체적으로 뭔가 조합이 좀 더 단단해졌다는 얘기가 들리고 있습니다.
탱커 많이 사랑해 주시고요. 보울리 선수는 워낙 팬이 많아서 엄청 부럽습니다.
제가 든세 선수가 조금 친분이 있거든요. 근데 든세야 미안하지만 이번에는 우리가 이겨야겠다.
3대0으로 끝내서 빠르게 퇴근시켜드리겠습니다.
And there you have it. Among all the other battles going on in this best of 5, it certainly is a bit of a battle between Reinhardts as well, with Gamsu versus Panker. And Gamsu did have a couple good Earth Shatters in that match against Cloud9, especially the one they showed on Lighthouse on Ilios. But aside from that, I think it's pretty easy to say Panker has got him beat in the Reinhardt department.
Yes, although Gamsu has been a pretty outstanding Reinhardt player here in Korea. I mean, Panker is definitely in the argument for the best Reinhardt player in this country. So not going to be too surprising. And we're going to take a look and really see about those Reinhardt mind games. Who's going to be able to block those Earth Shatters can really tilt the advantage of some of these team fights.
Yeah, very true. And it just, I mean, it's a lot of proving that CONBOX Spirit needs to do, right? I mean, last season was a bit rough. Now they're back again. They managed to at least avoid relegations, but if they don't at least, you know, win or maybe, you know, lose 2 to 3 here, I think they're in real danger for ending up in 4th place in the group.
It's possible, but I think even then they're a good enough team that they could be confident about re-qualifying for the next season of Apex. So I wouldn't be too concerned. They got dropped, just like, you know, we talk about it, they got dropped in a pretty tough group here, and
Yeah.
Some roster changes, shifting them into a less favorable position with Zunba going to Lunatic High.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over on the other side is a team that is dressed like probably high-end bartenders. I think you could make that comparison.
I would say 1950s workers.
Yeah, that would work too.
Factory workers. I
Either
love
way.
how
Depends on the
they
bar, I guess.
I love how they changed from going from this full jumpsuit look into these sort of workspin suspenders. It's really wonderful what they've been doing with their aesthetic and team uniforms.
Bubbly reminds me of a character from the Earthbound series. You know that RPG, like the backwards hat, the suspenders? I don't know. He looks like he should be in there, man.
Hanging out with Ness.
Yeah, swinging a baseball bat with Ness and Lucas. Why not? Well, they'll have to be swinging the Reinhardt hammer this time around. Not Bubbly. He won't be. Maybe he does the solo queue. Who knows? But it's going to be all Panker doing the hammer swinging here. And, I mean, what more can you say? KongDoo Uncia coming into this one looking really favored. It's on CONBOX Spirit to prove that they've got what it takes to go toe-to-toe with a team like this.
Yeah, and even though KongDoo Uncia only beat, and I say only beat, Africa Blue 3-1, the map they lost was the Assault map Volskaya.
Right.
And they came in to that map with a pretty huge advantage and sort of collapsed. Like, they had a massive time bank edge and then couldn't actually convert. So
yeah.
It was certainly some series that they could have closed out 3-0.
Yeah, that particular map was a pretty heroic effort by Arhan and Recry as well,
Yeah.
too. So we'll see if things change today. Most played heroes, of course. Butcher on that Diva. Liz, Soldier 76. I mean, it's all changing. We don't have a ton of data points to really go off of just yet, but yeah, that's what they've been playing so far. It is interesting to see Dance focusing so hard on that Roadhog.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's been good on it. Both of these
Yes, he
teams were primarily, of course, as you can see, playing triple tank coming into tonight. But I just think that taking a look at KongDoo and the fact that Butcher, I think, was better on the Zarya than he was on the Diva, they're going to be in a great position here.
Absolutely. Well, it's always fun to see these teams play on the new patch. I love this patch, man. It gives teams, I think, so many options for experimentation. It's been really fun seeing what people have come up with. I want to see more DPS. Looks like we're actually going to Lijiang Tower for the first time this season.
Exciting. We finally get
Yeah.
to see something that isn't Ilios and Oasis, as much as I did enjoy seeing a fair amount of Oasis coming back into the professional scene.
It's good to have a bit of variety in life, you know?
Sure is, Noah.
Oh,
Sure
yes.
is.
That's right. Except in games you cast. Then only one. That one game is Overwatch. That's right. Well, I'm excited to see Liz and Youngin again. And, of course, Sleepy Bear. Again, you can't, underestimate this guy's Roadhog, too. He did look like a very mechanically skilled Roadhog player. So the pieces are there. Can they put it all together, though, is the question.
I just don't know about Sleepy Bear on heroes not named Roadhog. That's
Well,
my question.
I think we're going to find out today, guys. Time to go to Lijiang Tower and see who takes an early lead in this best of 5. Let's get in the game. All right. Well, we didn't even have a chance to get it before the mapping. Whoa, what?
No, that's not acceptable.
My whole world has been shattered, man. I don't know if I will ever get it again. I don't know if anyone will, frankly.
I hope that's not gone forever. Interestingly,
Yeah.
particularly these compositions so far, obviously waiting for them to form up properly. Butcher back
Sure.
on the Zarya. Really,
There we go.
no surprise with that so far. Liz going to be on his signature Tracer pickup.
Yep. I like the Myung-Hoon Bastion. I think we should stick with that. I don't see any reason to change.
Hey, nothing wrong with a little Bastion here or there. It looks like Myung-Hoon will be going back to that Genji as the time ticks down.
Monty,
Ramsu.
do not encourage the people in solo queue, man. Just don't do that.
Twilight may be sticking with this Sombra, and looks like he
Okay.
will. So
All right.
single support going to be the name of the game with that Lucio. So very little healing, but of course
Yeah.
when you hack that health pack over on the side of the Pagoda, like we're seeing right now from Twilight, does act as of the shorter respawn time as sort of an off healer.
Twilight going in gets a hack onto the Roadhog anyway.
Well, that's perfect. No hook worry right there.
Yeah, Dan's going to be a little bit less annoying for the moment, but this is something that's been popping up once in a while here, where you run the Sombra and then just the Lucio for support. The idea is that you have that EMP every fight. We'll see if it works out. Dan's trying to defend as Gamsu jumps in on that Winston, has to back out of the pit right now. Gets the kill, though, onto Twilight. Wow, just turned and Right-clicked him, man.
Well, they were trying to delay that
Ouch.
as long as possible. Myunghoon had an early death to Butcher to start off that fight.
Yeah.
Can't hold the point for too long. They will be respawning. Twilight getting up there when it comes to that EMP. But look at Bubbly. He's already at 75%, getting his sound barrier up extremely quickly.
You know, I feel like we're just seeing a lack of patience from CONBOX Spirit, right? As we see Twilight sneak around the back. See who he goes after here. Getting the hack on the Zarya, but not a lot of danger. Has to go back before he got booped off the edge. Meanwhile, swapping over to Myunghoon here in the pit. But, you know, again, well, okay, they're going to go ahead and use the nano boost onto Panker, just to keep people out of the point. But what I was saying is that, you know, they could have had this push right now if they would have just poked a little bit more, right? They didn't need to go for the point right away.
No, they didn't, but I think they were just trying to delay the cap as long as possible, considering Myunghoon had already died. Now, Twilight's going to have this EMP. The question is, does he know that Bubbly is going to have the sound barrier? Because ideally, you want to pop it after the sound barrier goes down to just basically eliminate those shields immediately.
Right.
That could be a really big turning point in this first fight.
I mean, where you kind of engage with the EMP like he's going to do. Yeah, he's going to do before the shield goes down, and immediately, yeah, Bubbly responds. So CONBOX Spirit running into a much tougher fight than they thought they would. Dance immediately picking up something, and wow, Uncia just tears Spirit apart. And it's exactly like you said, man, when you rely on the Sombra for the engage, which is what the strategy does, then you got to worry about that sound barrier.
I mean, it works wonderfully if you know they have sound barrier up, right? Because
Sure.
you could just eliminate it immediately. But when you commit that hard, and they're looking at Overwatch, and he's the one who, you know, is thinking about the enemy Lucio's ultimate. But it's one of those unfortunate things. Bubbly had that sound barrier so fast in this game, and really changed the outcome of this first point.
All right, going in again. Butcher waiting for the Graviton Surge to catch Spirit as they come in, and oh boy, that is devastating, man. Bird Ring on the Tracer now gets some with the Pulse Bomb, but everyone just kind of getting rocked. Panker waiting in there too, that Graviton Surge. Not even letting Spirit touch the point, and you gotta wonder, Bubbly with a happy face there, of course, about that sound barrier, but you gotta wonder if that's maybe a sign of things to come. That was a rough round for CONBOX Spirit.
I am so surprised Bubbly got that sound barrier up so quickly. It was the entire round was based around that sound barrier, and I don't really think you can blame CONBOX for engaging the way they did. They popped that Dragon Blade thinking that the EMP would allow Myunghoon's Genji to really clean up on that point, but they invested so much. And then you see that Graviton Surge coming in later, late sound barrier on behalf of CONBOX, and the whole hog just ripped them apart. So really good execution from Uncia right there. They were absolutely ready for that. Bubbly had great timing on that ult.
Looks like they may try for the same thing. Twilight still on that Sombra. Yeah, they're going for it as we move into Control Center now. Going to go for the health pack right away, as you do. And I wonder if it's going to work a little bit better this time. Seems like this is even a less favorable point to run it on than Night Market is.
Yeah, you don't.
Dance gets a kill on the Gamsu too.
Yeah, you don't have a close mega health pack really to take advantage of right here. Just that little one on the side. So you're going to charge your ultimate significantly less quickly than you might otherwise expect. And KongDoo Uncia will be taking the first cap here on the point.
I've talked to some pros about the strategy, and the general vibe I've gotten is that people aren't thinking it's too great right now. At least it's good on 1 or 2 points like we saw it on Night Market, but for the most part, it seems like people are kind of saying, well, it's interesting, but it's not that great. Uncia fending out the push here from CONBOX. They're getting closer to that EMP.
Yeah, I think really for me, though, on this point, it depends on whether you take the high ground big health pack or not, and then use your translocator to dodge into the fight and then relocate back up there to charge. But we're not seeing that flank option coming in from CONBOX as Twilight getting close to that EMP right now, but so many ults from KongDoo about to come online. Twilight doesn't have a whole lot of time to work with. He will be flanking from the high ground yet again.
40% already built up for KongDoo Uncia as Twilight goes in, EMP available. This is a push, man. This is what they've been waiting for. Here's where their strategy comes together. Twilight pops the EMP. The shields are out of the way. Bubbly does not have sound barrier this time, and that is going to leave Myunghoon to do work. He's trying to at least, and this is the push that they wanted to put together last round.
It is, and they changed their positioning. So notice where Myunghoon was. He was actually on the high ground in the halls where it was outside of the line of sight of the enemy Lucio player, just in case that sound barrier came down. So it was a better guarantee to pick up some of those kills and a better execution. So CONBOX sticking with the same strategy, but executing it significantly better. Had a pretty big ult advantage there, but they dumped everything. And Gamsu's Earth Shatter up right now, but KongDoo's going to be coming back with, 5 ults pretty quick.
Yeah, nearly a few more here. Butcher getting very low, though. Sound Barrier saves at the last moment. They're going to pop the Graviton Surge. New kills coming in. It looks like that's what KongDoo Uncia was looking for. Yep. Seemed like a pretty easy push to retake. And, you know, again, the idea is to have that EMP every fight. And if you don't have it defensively, you run into situations like that.
Yeah, now they're in a situation where they have to deal with so much crowd control coming through these choke points. KongDoo has the Earth Shatter, and Dance is hiding here with the whole hog. Is he going to blast everybody into the enemy team?
I think that's the idea. Well, first going for the kill. They're going to use the Earth Shatter as well.
Oh, what a great setup.
Already. Yep, and pretty much CONBOX Spirit trapped between a hard place, which is Reinhardt, and instead of a rock, they have a gun firing a bunch of scrap, I guess. So that analogy doesn't quite work as smoothly as
a fat man in a hard place.
A fat man in a hard place. There you go. Yeah. Hey, he's just big boned.
All right, so time to back cap, I guess. Let's see if Younghood can do any work as we head into overtime.
Younghood just trying to live right now, but he's got a Zarya. Yep, Zarya with the nano boost takes out the Genji very quickly. KongDoo charging in on the Reinhardt, but he's on his own, low health. And CONBOX Spirit just fighting for survival here, and this is not a fight they're going to win. It looks like it's going to be a 2-0 for KongDoo Uncia here on Lijiang Tower. They made that look pretty easy.
Absolutely they did, and I think we're going to see, you know, significantly more of this Sombra play on control points, and I do think it's good. It's just very execution-based, and it requires some in-depth knowledge of your opponent's ultimates and whether you can nullify those or not. But the second attempt was much better from CONBOX. Unfortunately, Uncia was ready. Quick retake with a better ult economy and great usage, and Uncia still looking very clean and very sharp, just like we saw them against Africa Blue.
Yeah, I would say so. They knew what the plan was. They knew it was coming. They handled it quite well. I mean, we saw Dance landing a lot of hooks, doing great on the Roadhog. And it's a rough start for CONBOX Spirit.
Well, it is. I think it's going to be a rough best of 5 for CONBOX Spirit, Doa, but we'll see.
It probably will be too.
Especially because CONBOX looked the best on control when they played against Cloud9, so they've got a long way to go as we move into our first hybrid map of the night.
Well, going into that match with Cloud9, they said, you know, we want to out-duel them, and that's what they did on in their control map, and they ended up winning that one. But when it came time to stop brawling and start pushing a payload around, things got noticeably worse rather. So
they definitely were not noticeably worth.
Noticeably worth. That's Sobra's EMP combo. Noticeably worth. Yeah.
The second one was, but
it was okay.
You really are reliant on some pretty big ult combos when you have that EMP.
Yeah.
To be effective, so it can make things slightly awkward if you do fall behind in the ult economy.
Well, we're going to Kings Row for our second map. That was CONBOX Spirit's choice. We'll see if they can tie this series up, or if their opponents KongDoo Uncia take a 2-0 lead. Let's get in the game and find out.
Get it.
Hey, there we go. We got it that time. Welcome to Kings Row, guys, where Mandata got it to the head, courtesy of Widowmaker.
It's all right, they built a statue.
That's right.
We look at this every time.
We do.
Just the robot
Yeah.
with a human child.
It's like, hey, kid, I'm going to show you how nuclear things work.
I think he can
Robots.
show you the world, you know.
Yeah, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when... Wait, that movie came out a long time ago.
It really did.
I actually sang that song for the Disney film. Nobody knows that.
Wow, I'm
Yeah.
really impressed with your talent.
It wasn't the guy from Full House like everyone thought it was. It was me.
It was me, Doa, all along.
That's right. Hey, it's me, Doa.
All right, well, Banker going to go back. He is absolutely not going to play that Torbjorn.
He's, may look like he was dwarfing us, but he was actually trolling us. Different fantasy character.
Yeah, they only brought one of those over from Warcraft.
I guess,
The
yeah.
dwarves, not the trolls. Not yet, at least.
Yeah.
Although you wouldn't know it. I have plenty of trolls in my queue games in Overwatch.
You and me both.
So many Hanzo Widowmaker combos, Doa. It's actually depressing.
Yeah. Hey, we saw one of those in Apex last week, so I guess it's legit now.
Hey, it was on King's Row Attack too.
That's true,
Except
yeah.
it was actually good when the pros do it, and there was a
Yeah.
reason behind it as opposed to trolling.
Yeah, you guys out there, you are not pros. Unless you're pros that are watching, then you are pros. CONBOX Spirit on the attack, Oporochi on the Zenyatta, which makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Liz on that Soldier 76, a hero he had a lot of success on the first map against Cloud9 anyway. They're wasting no time and pushing this point.
Yeah, coming up pretty fast. Dan's actually going to walk around for a flank right here, see if he can finally land that
Uh-oh.
hook, but he gets out-hooked by Sleepy Bear. A little bit awkward when he was behind that column.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, no time to take a breather. And Roadhog does tend to stick out from behind that column on both sides.
Yeah, Birdring with a clutch kill onto Oporochi, though, so actually just bringing it on back right now, leaving it at a stalemate here on that first point, but Liz winning the Soldier duel.
Yeah, that's right. Uh-oh. And Reinhardt's going to take a bit of a nap here as they keep pushing forward. There's a Nano Boost going to send in Sleepy Bear, or rather Gamsu, and see what he can do. Butcher with the Graviton Surge, though, for KongDoo Uncia. And that is definitely a nice follow-up for them. They absolutely rock the push, and CONBOX Spirit back to the drawing board once again, but they're getting close to some ults.
And that was really the hallmark of the best play that we've seen from KongDoo Uncia so far, which is that you get the Nano Boost onto Butcher to make sure that he gets a very fast Graviton Surge by dealing increased damage. And so many times they've put it while he's getting close to the Graviton, allowed him to reliably deal damage, and then finish off his actual Nano Boost with the Graviton Surge and the related damage. So really nicely done, but here we come in with the Transcendence.
Yeah, it's going to provide a lot of damage reduction, or rather not damage reduction, but just healing, you know what I mean? But Spirit moving in, and we'll see if they can take this point. This seems to have a pretty good spot. Okay, looks like they got enough. Dancing Panker went down. Yeah, that'll do it.
Duncan swapping over to D.Va, just really actively pushing them off the point and clearing off upper halls at the same time, making sure that they weren't going to be subject to any deep forms or large amounts of damage on the attempt for the take, and that will force KongDoo Uncia back. But man, CONBOX had to really invest absolutely everything right there. Panker on the side. Now, when you play against Panker and you don't see him, you know he's around that corner. So let's see if they know.
Well, they're going in.
Oh,
Wow, he just walks right
man!
past the Reinhardt. Dance gets a kill immediately, and there's just no stopping Panker. All right,
Wow.
that's just how it's going to be, huh?
Really rare that you
He
see
just walked right past him.
that you see a Reinhardt doing that. And the best part is you could tell the communication was good, that his allies were saying exactly where everybody on the team was, because Panker himself couldn't really see it. You'll notice that he was standing with his shield in the wall, so he was using third-person view to see around the corner right there to set that play up. Really nice.
All right, well, Dance
Oh
beat.
my.
Oh my gosh, Graviton Surge into the whole hog means a whole lot of death for CONBOX Spirit. And that's a...
Not sure the tack visor was really necessary right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, they kind of just threw the kitchen sink at him.
They held on to the Nano Boost at the very least, realizing that that wasn't going to be necessary. And it is a bit of a nitpick when you only use one extra ultimate as a professional team, but that was nicely done. And they just continue this hold, and that was the price of CONBOX just sort of unloading their ultimates to take the point, is now that they've sort of signed up here for a very slow push through streets.
Yeah, well, Sleepy Bear with the whole hog, trying to
that's-
push people back a bit.
That's not a great whole hog right there.
Well, it gives him some time anyway.
A little bit of time. It does force Banker back to try and regenerate his shield, but you don't really gain a lot from that hold. May has been the switch for Liz.
Yep. Better on that. Gamsu has a, okay, counter Earth Shatter, but not going to make something out of it. Ends up charging into the opposing Reinhardt. And with the Nano Boost onto Panker, they're having no trouble at all cleaning up the rest of this.
Yeah, Gamsu thought he could get his Earth Shatter in right there, but Panker flashed a shield at the last second, so not actually able to pick up very much. And now another cleanup fight for KongDoo, but finally they had to invest 3 ultimates into that. Lucio, Ana, and Reinhardt all using their Bird Ring, going to try and set up for a flank right now because he knows his tack visor has to have a lot of value.
Yep.
Younghood and Liz switching again here.
Man, Spirit really kind of struggling to find any sort of semblance of a push here. And Birdering, obstacles are all, but there's a Transcendence.
man.
He does manage to take out Twilight, though, who's behind the rest of the team. Not going to be able to get a whole lot else done with that Transcendence, but he got the Ana, which is crucial. Now Butcher comes in with that Graviton Surge right before he goes down. And a little bit of follow-up. That's going to be enough to stop the push anyway.
That was such a devastating flank by Bird Ring. Nobody caught him going into those upper halls, and because Lucid wasn't actually, Twilight wasn't moving with the rest of his team, He wasn't in range of that trance, so he gets caught out, and that's all their healing after the trance ends. Pretty much gone right there. And the divide and conquer strategy really works out. Birdring drops down, waits for that trance to go away, and cleans up the fight.
I mean, it'd be crazy to see the payload stopped right here. You almost never see it held on Street's phase.
It is a rarity, but it's going to be a hard take for them now, considering the setup that they've got. And KongBox a little bit short in the ultimate department. They're going to really rely on this. Well, see if the nano boost can actually work.
Yeah, not so far. I mean, Dance didn't really get a lot of targets. They pushed KongBox back anyway.
All right, that turned out okay. They did draw out the ult right there. And KongBox has to make this next push work, however. This is the moment they've been waiting for. It looks like reliably, realistically, they're only going to have an Earth Shatter. They don't even really have a way to get Sleepy Bear to the point where he's going to have that Graviton. And oh boy, Dance looking for the pick.
It's my turn to flank, says Dance.
Well, they're making really smart decisions because now they know they don't have any ultimates available, so why not just use this right here, the hook? Not going to work out. Maybe should have gone for that Ana instead.
Yeah. All right, having some trouble finding anybody. Nope, that did not work out. Sleepy Bear ends up getting 2. And that payload's going to move. We're down to just 10 seconds, so you know, whether or not they make this point B, KongDoo Uncia has bought themselves a ton of time. Drained a lot off the clock.
Absolutely, they will have a very limited push in Foundry, but I think it's going to have to go, they're going to have to go for it.
Now they're going for one last push. Liz comes in, they go for the big bang, gets a lot of damage done with it. That's 2. Meanwhile, the Dragon Blade comes out. Myunghoon trying to make something happen, and KongBox Spirit does manage to finish point B.
Sleep Dart coming in, but this just shows that KongDoo knows that they had to make the most out of this particular push, right?
Yeah.
This is probably the last push they're going to realistically get in this game, with KongDoo returning to an ult economy advantage. And yeah, they had to use everything, Pulse Bomb, Dragon Blade, and Graviton Surge, but they're hoping to maximize the value of those ultimates by pushing through.
All right, Birdring with the Tac Visor, going, gets a couple, and this is definitely good defense so far for KongDoo Uncia.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, again, just dividing and conquering, right? KongDoo Spirit really split up on that push. Now just about 45 seconds left.
Yeah, wow. So we'll see. KongBox, I think, was really smart to use those ultimates there to commit to the furthest push that they can.
Yeah.
They could, given the circumstances.
You might as well, right?
I mean, you can ask, what does saving Pulse Bomb or what does saving Dragon Blade really do at that point in time? And I think not a whole lot. You might as well just double down, make sure you get that team wipe, and go for this because you know they're going to be coming back with a whole hell of a lot. Birdring now on the McCree.
Now Liz has another one ready to go already. And they're waiting. Gotta go now, 10 seconds left. Liz comes in, sticks the Pulse Bomb, nearly gets Panker. Doesn't quite finish him off. Oh, but Gamsu does. Gamsu coming in, Earth Shatter gets 2.
Nice.
Gets the pin onto Birdring. That's a good start. That payload's gonna be moving. Here comes the sound barrier, and suddenly, KongBox Spirit pushing this payload nearly all the way. Are they going to get it? It's so close. KongDoo, and they get it. Wow, 3 points at the last moment for KongBox Spirit. Great play by Liz to get in there with the Pulse Bomb. They took down Panker, and that kind of opened the door to victory.
I was really worried there for a second, though, because, of course, the Pulse Bomb is not enough to kill a full health Reinhardt. And the grenade, the Biotic Grenade from Ana actually did not hit Panker, so I was concerned that the Ana was going to heal him up, but Gamsu really took initiative and actually just cleaned him up through the shield. Yeah. So really good target calling there in a situation that could have turned out very poorly and as a waste of that Pulse Bomb. But instead they keep pushing forward, and I really like what KongBox was doing there on that final drive through the Foundry. Very good use of their ultimates, really committed, and now they are rewarded for it. I mean, yes, they don't have much time on the clock, 0 seconds in fact, but they did get all 3 points, so they will have another shot here if we do see KongDoo push all the way through as well.
I mean, when it comes to basic mechanics and basic sort of like playmaking, I think KongBox Spirit generally does just fine. That fight was an example of it. Where it seems like they really struggle is when they have to, you know, plan to come at a point and put a lot of, you know, a lot of like forethought into it. It almost seems like they're kind of like trying to juggle too many balls at once when they go for these elaborate push strategies that kind of fall apart. But you put them in a situation where they just say, all right, we're here, they're here. We're both together. Nobody's going anywhere. We've got these ults to work with. They tend to play a lot better in those situations.
Yeah, indeed. And take a look at KongBox. They are going to be going for a 2 DPS defense, which is quite interesting. So often we see Roadhog on defense on this point, just looking for, fishing for hooks as you back off the point. when they commit. And Birdring and Dance at least showing the Hanzo and the Widowmaker, which has been successful in the past, but nope. Going to be the Roadhog and the McCree. So trying to eliminate the backline threat of that Genji with the flashbang, and they will read this correctly.
All right. Let's see how it goes. Here comes KongDoo Uncia. For a possible hook here.
Yeah, the problem that you run into when you don't have a Roadhog here on the defense is that in Reinhardt's Shield Wars, if your shield on defense breaks first, oh wow, that
double
was
charge, man. Gamsu gets pulled in, I think. Twilight got the kill on the Panker.
That
so
was
no push for KongDoo.
That was a 6 sleep dart. That Ana was not where he expected the Ana to be, and ended up as they pushed forward getting knocked over. So we'll see if that can be replicated. Twilight with that very nice first kill. See Liz up on the high ground on the side right there. I think they're going to have to run around and try and approach that way. They need to knock this soldier off of that position.
Liz is definitely causing problems for them. And he's going to the sidewalk. Gets the kill on the
grenade.
Dance here, yeah. Not bad at all. Panker very low. This push seems to be stopped already, especially with Sleepy Bear coming in. He had the nano boost for a little while, too. They've nearly got that Graviton Surge.
Yeah, there's KongDoo is sort of letting CONBOX set up a nice crossfire here. It's hurt them twice now, just as they push forward. You're not going to be able to take that point unless you can actually remove the threats from the high ground. So they need to really head up that alley from around the side of Hotel and try and take that high ground before dropping down. That's what they're going to do. This is the play they should have been making on that second push.
Oh, here they go. Try out. Myungun has to take a dive off of the second floor there. Birdring coming around the side now. He's nearly got the Deadeye.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Much better. And actually, we'll see how they respond. They're actually going to reset on the opposite side of the point now.
Wow, all right, Birdring with the nano boost going for the Deadeye. Gets one onto Liz. Nice to get the soldier out of the way. Comes in. Oh, great flashbang on the Myungun. So Birdring himself just goes in and takes out both DPSs on his own. And KongDoo Uncia going to be in a great position to take point A.
Wow, that was wonderful. Really nice stuff from KongDoo, finally reading that situation right. CONBOX had a good response, though, just trying to pull back, putting everybody through the Hotel, and resetting up behind the Reinhardt shield, but Liz didn't quite make it there, and the Electric Cowboy does manage to take the kill with the Deadeye, and they snowball from there. So, we'll see KongDoo looking pretty good in the Streets phase, about even when it comes to the ult economy right now.
Check it out, Butcher hiding in the cafe. Ready to flank with that Graviton Surge.
He got it there really fast. He's still
did.
got a lot of charge, too. This is looking good. Here we
Oh,
go.
Man, yeah, no blocking that as he comes in with half charge and Dance immediate with the whole hog. Sleep Dart is going to put him on the ground for the moment, but they do get the kills they're looking for, and that payload's going to move.
I am so impressed with KongDoo's ability to set up flanks, depending on the situation, who has ultimates and who doesn't. You know, if nobody has it, Dance has been very good, as we saw when he was in upper halls, about he was the ones needing to set the pick. Otherwise, it was Birdring on that soldier. That time, man, they combo the Graviton and the whole hog extremely well for that immense damage. I mean, that is one of the highest damage combos in the game.
Oh, yeah. And that's going to nearly get them all of point B here on Kings Row. Uncia with a lot of ults to work with. Actually, both teams doing pretty decently in the ult department. And so now it's Shield Wars. Sound Barrier comes in, and they're going to go for it. Myungun pulls out the Dragon Blade, looking for a bit more. Takes down Lucid, actually. Meanwhile, the Nano Boost over on Butcher. Butcher gets 2 for himself, so that payload is probably going to keep moving as soon as KongDoo Uncia finishes off the Stragglers, and that's one way to do it. Goodbye, Sleepy Bear. Myungun goes down, and oh man, right to the head.
That was a wonderful team fight. I mean, Bubbly again showing up big with a nicely timed sound barrier, which wasted part of the Dragon Blade and the Nano Boost combo coming in from CONBOX. Still manages to get the kill onto Ana, but everybody else is on top of the payload, getting that ambient healing, and is a tank. So much harder for Myungun to sort of turn based on that. We're going to see Butcher here coming in. He's got a Graviton again.
Somewhere.
Yeah, you know how this ends, don't you?
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, the whole hog. Let's just call it the whole surge, or the Graviton hog. I like that better. Oh, hook gets broken. Welcome to Hook 2.0. Doesn't matter, though. The payload's moving. The Graviton hog, man, that is a high damage, high lethality combo.
Absolutely is. Butcher did go a little bit too far forward there, ended up dying to Twilight's Ana. It's going to be one attempt here,
man,
and that's
Dance.
a nice pick. Dance managed to land a pretty critical hook.
Yeah.
All right, KongDoo still has a zoning Deadeye here. We'll see how much value they can get out of it as they try and push this in.
There we go. Has time. Gets Sleepy Bear on the outside of that fight. That's a great start. Looking for the flashbang just to keep people from getting in, and Gamsu, the only one on that point. Here comes Lucio, but he's not going to last too long. Oporochi goes down, and that payload's going to move. 2:55 left on the clock for KongDoo Uncia. That is a great time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great finish there for KongDoo Uncia. Man, coming in really strong. They showed a little bit of weakness in that defense despite some wonderful setups, but they just drive it home on the attack. Wow, their synergy and knowing how to play these maps with the ults available is quite stunning.
Yeah. So we do end up going to time bank, but KongDoo Uncia just in an infinitely better position to win this map.
Well, I mean, because it's a hybrid map, like that's it pretty much. We're gonna see if they can do anything. It basically is just for KongDoo. They've got a lot of time to take this first point, and CONBOX is nothing. So they have to make their final stand here, or that's going to be it for them.
Yep. So
they're going to go back to the Roadhog. I like the defense they had at first too. It was a little more unorthodox, but it's so nice to have a Roadhog here, and you're not so scared of the potential picks coming through from an enemy Roadhog. KongDoo probably just going to go with what was successful last time and see what the defensive formation from CONBOX is going to be.
That's the idea. Uncia coming in now. There's Panker over on the Reinhardt. They've got time, but they don't have enough time to mess around with an offensive Torbjorn. This is not solo queue. All right, here we go.
And Liz back up in that same position.
Yep.
But see if they're going to actually deal with him seriously. Wow, early charge in there.
Yeah, really aggressive charge. Liz does get the kill onto Lucid, though. That's a couple of them. Good start for CONBOX.
That's a great charge, actually. We couldn't see if it was going to be successful moving in, but when you can charge out that enemy Reinhardt and open up the shield, that's a pretty crucial kill, actually.
It is. I mean,
Liz.
It's going to split spawn KongDoo Uncia a bit, but getting Liz out of the way, forcing that long run back is going to let KongDoo go for the 5v5, and they're going to go for it right on the point already. CONBOX backing off quite a bit.
It also crucially means that there isn't a crossfire now, and that's the most important thing, is that they can just run in very easily and play the Reinhardt.
Oh, Dance.
The Reinhardt, hog game of shield breaking.
Again, he hooks Myunghoon. That's two now for Dance. One-man army here on this Roadhog, and I think this is going to be point A, and this may be the game. Butcher gets a nano boost, does get the kill onto a couple members of KongDoo Spirit as well. And that's the cleanup. KongDoo Uncia takes King's Row. It's a 2-0 game.
That trade from Birdring was really wonderful. It looked like it was going to be bad, of course, with Birdring dying second, but of course with the run back time. And had it been any other player, it wouldn't have mattered as much. But the problem there is that the entire linchpin of that defense from CONBOX T6 was having that soldier on the high ground and opening up opportunities for him to get that crossfire. And without that, they have to fall very far back from the point. They can never really, they don't have time to set up the soldier on the high ground again. Right. And then when your Reinhardt shield breaks, that's when the hooks from Dance come through. And execution, very nice there. But if Liz had stayed alive, there was a possibility that CONBOX would have been able to hold that, but with him dead, that possibility shrunk drastically.
Well, it's 2-0 lead in this best of 5 for KongDoo Uncia. CONBOX Spirit's got to come back with some heroics after our break if they want to have any chance of staying alive in our first match of the day. It's looking like all KongDoo for now.
Yeah, KongDoo certainly looking like a potential favorite of this entire event right now with how they're playing.
It could be.
Their tactics, very nice.
We'll be back right after this.
도망치는 게 좋을 겁니다. 나 잠깐. 와가 테키오쿠라.
And we're back on Overwatch Apex Season 2. Guess what? KongDoo Uncia is a pretty good team, and CONBOX C6 having trouble beating him. Oh, wow. Look at those old StarCraft Pro Gamer guys.
Wow.
Magic Ends. That is an old scarf. That's awesome.
Wow.
Oh, man.
It's the Marine.
Yeah, the Marine. And,
he's one of our Korean casters.
There he is. Yeah.
Reach was on there, too, of course, the long-time KT player. Wish we could have seen the other.
as well.
Yeah.
The old Protoss.
Yeah. I have Nalra, as you might know him.
That's right, yeah, Nalra.
Wish we had a little more time to take a look at that one. As
Wow.
Old Brood War fan, especially a KT fan like myself.
I'd like to shake that fan's hand. I'm not a KT fan. I'm more of an SKT guy myself, but I respect that person for bringing that scarf, for keeping it for so many years. Like, that's an old one. That's like, seriously.
That's really old.
That scarf is probably a decade old, no joke.
Yeah, it was before they changed their name to Rollstar, so that was their...
That was like pre-2005 at least.
No, I think it was pre-2007 or 8.
Around 2005-ish. I think.
So anyway,
my history gets a bit fuzzy when you go back over a decade, but either way, that's an old scarf, and that's awesome.
Yeah, the Marine, of course, one of the longtime casters here at OGN for a variety of titles.
Yeah.
He is now on Overwatch, and we get to see him in the hilarious midpoint of Brood War when they wore epic spacesuits on stage.
Yes. Well, we're going to Hanamura next for our third map, and it is go big or go home time for KongDoo Spirit, and things are looking a bit rough. Why am I pronouncing KongDoo? I've been studying Korean too much lately.
Pretty much.
I really have.
That is how you say it in Korean, but
Yep. In English, it's KongDoo.
because it's
like
contents box.
Right. It's like Con Air, only it's a box instead of a plane filled with Nicolas Cage and friends. Or not friends, as you may have seen the movie.
Definitely. Nicolas Cage and enemies.
I use friends in the generic sense, in that they're not friends at all. All right, let's go to Hanamura. See who is able to win it. KongDoo Uncia looking like they're going to be taking a 3-0 unless CONBOX has anything to say about it. Let's get in the game and find out.
I get it.
All right. Welcome to Hanamura. Have you ever been to Hanamura?
I have not been to Hanamura.
Me neither. Well, it's not a real place. So
Well, I guess I can't have gone there then.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
I've been to Japan several times, but
I've only been once. Well, I mean, I'm not counting the many, many times to the airport.
yes, you can't count that.
I've only actually been out of the airport in Japan once.
Panker's job was to put that one turret on the lantern and then swap. Good job, Panker.
Hey, you know, he did his job. Throws out the shield. There we go. He's protected on his way back to the spawn, and I can respect that.
I like how he just like walks out of spawn, puts down a Torbjorn or a Symmetra turret, depending on the map, and then just goes back on Reinhardt.
It's one of those pre-game rituals, man.
It's a turret for luck.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, CONBOX, at least they can take solace in the fact that KongDoo Uncia did lose their only map so far this season on Assault. It was on Volskaya, not on Hanamura forever, and CONBOX did pick this one up. They're going to use Twilight. I think is going to be switching off that far.
I mean, there's no Recry and Arhan here to
But
change
he's
things up.
switching
And
to
Twilight,
Widowmaker.
Well, if you can play the Ana, maybe you can play the Widowmaker. We'll find out.
That's how the saying goes, I'm pretty sure. Wow,
I
dive
guess.
composition with Widowmaker and single support.
Yeah.
So they're going to use Lucio's speed boost to get in, try and dive that back line, and open up room for Twilight to snipe into the point. So
Exactly.
KongDoo has a good read on this, though. Look at what they're doing. They're just all hiding up in the top choke point there where they can't get an angle for the Widowmaker shots. It's a very smart defense here coming in from KongDoo. They've got to break that Reinhardt shield before they could really move in.
I mean, there are so many good angles for Widowmaker on this map, though, that you know Twilight's going to find something. He decides to just go down to the ground, throws the mine in, Young going over the top. Now they've got KongDoo a little bit backed into a corner here. The control meter's starting to build here.
And they're going to come back out and try and get picks, and Birdwing's going to take out the Tracer immediately, so Liz falling quite quickly.
That's that.
Man, KongDoo responds so well to these situations.
Yeah.
That is a very practiced read on a specific kind of composition that you have to defend against, and they do it nearly flawlessly.
Yeah, very impressive stuff. CONBOX switching things up a bit. Of course, Twilight going over to that Ana now. We'll see if they can get a push going here.
I am really impressed with the number of scenarios that KongDoo appears to be practiced for their match tonight.
They seem so calm when they're doing it, too. It doesn't seem to be any confusion on the team at all about where everybody needs to be. Liz coming in, It's the push. There's a Pulse Bomb. Are they going to use it? Meanwhile, Myungun pulls out the Dragon Blade, gets a couple. That Pulse Bomb was really successful from Liz, actually, and it looks like CONBOX is going to be able to probably take point A here.
And as good as that defense was, as soon as those ultimates were come up, that's great English right there.
Welcome to my world, man. Now you're
came
like
up.
Doa.
Came up. Then that's when they can really abuse how clustered everybody was together right there. Myung-hoon and Liz really combining very well. But, of course, the downside is when you commit your ults to that first point capture, and KongDoo, they really only came out with a nano boost there onto Panker. Well, it makes taking the second point take a whole hell of a lot longer. So it's going to be a while probably before CONBOX can even think about breaking this defense.
All right, well, Gamsu doesn't agree. He's going right in there with the Reinhardt, man. Sound barrier in response. Myung-hoon's going to take a nap on the stairs. Oh, man, Birdring, that was brutal, dude. And the kills for KongDoo, making sure that CONBOX is not going to get at this push.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Soldier shouldn't be doing that. He's as a professional warrior, he probably should be following some basic ethics.
That
about
was definitely against the Geneva Convention,
that
man.
definitely was.
Yeah. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
He's like, nobody knows who I am anymore. I'm not part of Overwatch. Everything's fair game.
Yep. Wow. Man.
He went to Blackwater.
I guess so. Now we know what watch he joined. Sleepy Bear gets 2 at the self-destruct, apparently. CONBOX not going to be making any progress, though, despite that. Heard he likes to waterboard people, too. Topical.
Very topical.
Evil man.
All right. So now we're getting to a point where CONBOX actually might be able to, after they were stalled out, make a more convincing attack. But Sleepy Bear swapping from the D.Va back onto the Zarya. They will only be sitting at those 5 ultimates, but there is... Oh.
All right, Dragon Blade time. Going after the nano-boosted Soldier 76 here. Staying alive for the moment, but Bubbly finally cut down. Big Earth Shatter coming in, though. Myung-hoon trying to capitalize on it. Very low health this Panker. He will not survive. Myung-hoon really being a hero here, keeping people bottled up in spawn. A little bit of the control meter being built now by CONBOX Spirit, but the respawns are tough to deal with, and they're going to back away. It was close. Looks like they might be able to get a bit more here.
Yeah, Liz got to make sure that he gets rid of this Soldier. Does end up doing it. Birdring falls to Myung-hoon.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah, the respawns are just too much. It's so hard. You need to win such a decisive fight on this point to get any sort of meaningful time going. Look at that. They didn't even get the first tick on the control meter.
Got the 2 initial picks, but everybody just respawning, living long enough, and that's the challenge here. CONBOX used everything, so even though we see so many hero swaps and therefore ultimate resets coming in from KongDoo, it's not going to matter because no ult economy to speak of for CONBOX on the next push, and that's probably another couple minutes bought now by KongDoo. 3 minutes in this game, but it's probably only about 1 meaningful push from CONBOX left in this time bank, really.
Yeah. We'll see. KongDoo and Uncia set up in the typical place you see a lot of teams post up on the defense. CONBOX Spirit, though, moving in on the second floor. Oh, that was a pretty decent hook. But it doesn't end up in any kills. Butcher barely escaped with his life. Gonna find some healing. CONBOX really could have used that pick.
Yeah, Butcher actually staying on the Winston for now just because he was so close to the Primal Rage instead of switching back over to that Zarya. I imagine we will see him, if he uses that Primal Rage, switch over to Zarya once again, though.
A good push from CONBOX. They managed to dislodge KongDoo from the second floor, at least for now.
Take a lot of damage doing it, though.
Yeah, that's right.
And it also gives a lot of ultimates over to KongDoo. Lucid getting a lot of value out of healing.
Gamsu being very aggressive, just jumping out and trying to get that point going. Meanwhile, Birdring gets attack visor, got the nano boost. CONBOX in a lot of trouble here. Here's Bush with the Primal Rage. Butcher just keeping everybody in range, really, of Birdring in the 76.
Well, they really punished that drop down from Gamsu.
Yes, they did.
The rest of the team was still on the high ground.
Looked a bit too aggressive, didn't it?
Well, I like what we're seeing from KongDoo. Their timing is so impeccable. They were just waiting for the Reinhardt to drop and realized that was when the time that the Nano Visor could get the maximum amount of value was.
Yeah.
Really just taking the fight over there, so CONBOX going to be on the offensive yet again, and they are going to have an ult advantage. What can they do with it?
Twilight has that nano boost he can still use. And Liz the one with attack visor now. Got a lot of ults.
Certainly do. And Butcher has switched over to Diva.
That's a hook. Okay, they pop
Nice.
Butcher out of the Diva suit, and there we go. Attack visor used. They know they don't have to worry about the Diva block anymore. And Liz just going to town, man. Sound barrier coming in. But CONBOX getting a good start here on the point. Bubbly jumping down a bit separated from the rest of his team. They're going to take down Dance. Good hook from Sleepy Bear. And this is the push that CONBOX has been looking for. Can they take the point, though? It's so hard on Hanamura. Butcher comes back in, immediately popped up, and at least delaying CONBOX from taking more time on the control meter for now. But it is building. Lucid jumping in, giving his life. Here comes Dance now. Swapped over to the Winston, I guess.
Yeah, Pango actually sticking around on Reinhardt right now, just trying to shield himself in the corner, but Whole Hog is going to get him off the point.
Oh boy. CONBOX nearly has this one. Here comes Birdring though on the Mei, and Butcher gets 2 with that Diva actually. So CONBOX, the push finally starting to fall apart a bit here. They've got 2 ticks on the control meter, but there's only about 15 seconds left. They need to make this push work.
And it's going to get, can they get the soldier down? No. Liz actually going to pick it up. So, but falls off the point, so the actual pressure has been alleviated as the members of KongDoo. Lucid's going to come up, and that's going to be about it. Attack visor's all they got left.
Yeah, desperation push coming in right now. We're into overtime. KongDoo Uncia, they've got the respawns, they've got the kills. Butcher gets another one onto Gamsu. No Reinhardt means that Birdring free to fire away. And that is going to be about that. There goes the OT. There goes the self-destruct. And KongDoo Uncia will hold CONBOX to just 1 point, but barely.
Yeah, really, really close right there. And it's the little things about these assault maps that sometimes matter so much. And you look at it and you say, wow, okay, well, that was a pretty decisive break on the second push of the offense by CONBOX, but the price of that break and investing so heavily to getting that point A is that it really limits your ability to snowball through to point B, right? You make that decision. You say, we're going to dump all these ultimates to make sure we get point A, but then you say, oh, well, if they don't answer with ultimates and they just hold strong, well, they're going to get at least a couple of minutes on point B with some nice defenses, and KongDoo hangs on just barely.
Yeah. All right, well, now Uncia on the attack, and I wonder if we're going to see Dance stick to that Widowmaker. It's certainly possible. Lucid on the Reaper. That would be quite the crazy dive comp they've got put together. But, you know, I mean, we did just see CONBOX try to go for it with a single support.
Well, if
you never know.
Yeah, if you're confident that you're going to be facing a lot of tanks, which CONBOX has been running triple tank basically all match so far, and Twilight is potentially on the Torbjorn.
He's butchering it.
That is probably not going to turn out too well against what KongDoo's doing. Birdring is going to stick onto the Genji, and they also have the Widowmaker to get rid of those turrets, and they have a Winston shield to work with to set up their advance. Twilight is okay. So he's going to set this up here to try and get some ult charge, and then swap the location of the turret. Try and get a fast molten core. It can work.
It can, but you're not going to get it. It doesn't seem like anyway. You're going to get it quite fast enough that it's going to be worth it, right? Because you think KongDoo's just going to kill the turret and then roll in there knowing that there's a Torbjorn with no turret and
that's
try
why
to fight him at a bit of a disadvantage.
That's why he's setting up right now on the back of the top floor of the point there so that he will have some time to reset up his turret. Meanwhile, we've got double sniper and a Zenyatta, so very heavy dive/pick composition coming in from KongDoo. They want to get that Discord orb down and eliminate somebody with all this insane dive/single target snipe damage.
There's so much long-range damage coming in from KongDoo, and then you've got Panker just being annoying probably.
I mean, Twilight got 40% of an ult charge off of that, so...
Wow, okay. All right,
it worked.
Sure did.
It did work, but it has to continue working.
Well, Dance is just untouched here on this Widowmaker now.
I think the double sniper is a little bit of overkill here. This is a little silly, but we'll see if they can actually convert with it.
That was nearly a kill on the Youngmoon there. Dance still looking for a little bit more, trying to fire at Oparochi's feet under the bell.
Oh, he gets him under the bell!
Wow.
That was so sneaky. Damn.
Dude, that hurts. I mean, you don't expect people to be hitting you like that. I've never actually seen that before.
Nor have I.
Now I know. Anchor coming in from the side. This is the opportunity that Uncia has been looking for. Murdering gets the kill onto Liz. It's a good start. Pulse bomb available. Don't need to really use it right now. The fight already definitely going Uncia's way. They lose 3 though, so Spirit bringing it back again.
Yeah, but the problem is they need to get back onto the point. Panker playing around the Winston shield right now. Whole hog has to be used. Dance trying to get some damage down from the outside. Yogun so very low. And
whoa,
couple
okay, there's 2 from Panker. Onto that Tracer, and that's going to be it. So they will claim point A.
I love how Panker's the one playing Tracer.
I know, right?
This is a little troll.
A man of many talents. Meanwhile, Lucid has that Transcendence ready to go too, so they can make a very aggressive push onto the point here if they want to.
KongDoo does have Molten Core though, but there's no turret set up. That does limit the effectiveness of it.
He's probably going to have another turret by the time that the push actually comes, but
he will. But it's so hard to play Torbjorn against a Genji, a Widowmaker, and then also what we saw was the Hanzo initially.
Yeah.
There's no fall-off damage, so the turret goes down real fast.
Well, Zenyatta too, another hero
Turret's
without
down.
fall-off damage, and yeah, that's it. Butcher and Birdring come in for a couple of kills. Birdring waiting for that Dragon Blade. He's going to pull it out now. Goes after Oporochi. Transcendence trying to keep KongDoo in the game here. And we'll see if it works out. There's a Graviton Surge, but where's the follow-up? Okay, they've got a little bit. KongDoo will hold for now.
Lucid went chasing after Liz there on the lower level, did pick him up eventually, but the push itself is actually shut down. And that's the problem for KongDoo is you don't have very many bodies on the point in the situation where you're trying to use a sniper like that. So Dance is going to switch over to the Roadhog right here, and looks like we're going to see a more standard composition as KongDoo resets. They've got 5 minutes. They know they only just have to take the points, so it doesn't really hurt them that badly. They're working with a long clock.
Yeah, they had some ults to work with, so they thought, hey, why not give it a shot, throw it in there.
So Twilight's turrets, however, are going to be a lot more effective against this composition. He still has his ult.
Sure. All right, it's a problem. Butcher did get pulled in there. Now a hook on the Myunghoon. Gets very low. Dance gets pushed out, though. And that's going to mean that the whole team needs to back off for the moment. Bubby does end up getting the kill onto Twilight's turret, though. Uncia regrouping, coming up the stairs now. Dance running in, doesn't hit the hook, gets blocked. They're going to go forward here. There's a charge. KongDoo takes out Panker. Meanwhile, Soundbarrier comes in, and KongDoo Uncia without their Reinhardt. Are they going to push this? Another hook on the Myunghoon. Gets a bit low. Oh, there's a counter hook for Sleepy Bear. Gets a kill onto Dance.
Probably Bubbly's worst sound barrier in this match so far. He's been
really
so
early.
clutch. And then using it right there after the charge had already helped KongDoo pick up the kill onto Panker. There was really no value in using that Lucio ultimate. No good way to re-engage. And that's a tiny bit of a throwaway right there.
I mean, that was really the first time in this match that I feel like we've seen KongDoo Uncia really try to force something that they shouldn't have forced. I mean, Panker trying to just charge in there after it. He's like, well, we've got the shields, let's go for it. It was the first poorly coordinated thing we've seen them do. Meanwhile, Twilight, wow, just kind of free-firing with that Torbjorn. Birdring goes ahead and pops Attack Visor. He's going to not last too long as Twilight takes him out. Uses that Molten Core to do it. Meanwhile, Liz getting the kills on that Soldier 76. Dance gets a couple. He's swapped over to the Reaper now. Putting it to good work, but not good enough.
Wow, I really disagree with how we're seeing KongDoo play this. After all their plays have been so clean so far, that time, now they know that Torbjorn ult is still there. It's been there for most of the map already.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to play a little bit more conservatively, they just throw everything at it. They throw a nano-boosted Attack Visor, which gets shut down by the Molten Core turret. So they need to really rethink how they're going to be dealing with this situation.
Tried to toss the armor back up on the second level, but didn't quite land where he wanted it to.
So they're going to try and bust through with a D.Va and a Reaper on the top side right now.
And that Reaper's about to have Death Blossom as well. Just got the ultimate if he wants to use it. Dance has the Death Blossom. Waiting for his moment to go in. It's a decent start. Couple ults. All right.
They just have to slow push this through, and they don't really have anything to get rid of that turret. That's, again, the main issue. Sure, you've got a Soldier and an Ana. A Soldier doesn't have the greatest damage if you want to deal with that at very long range.
All right, trying to come in from the side now. KongDoo Uncia. Dance just waiting for that chance to use the Death Blossom. Going to try to get in behind the Reinhardt shield. Oh, but there's a hook from Sleepy Bear. This guy has made so many plays on this Roadhog. Definitely one of the best individual players out there. Sleepy Bear grabs another one. That was a good Earth Shatter coming in, and KongDoo Uncia's push is just stuffed. You know, when I watch this, I feel like I'm watching a scrim right now. I feel like I'm watching KongDoo Uncia just like experiment. They don't really seem to care if they win or lose this map. You know, at worst they can tie, I suppose. And I think they're confident in the tiebreaker control point round.
I guess.
So they just seem kind of lackadaisical, you know?
Yeah, they haven't been playing this very well, and CONBOX has been given a little bit of gift now. They've been playing.
Oh, here we go.
They've been having a strong defense, but also this Torbjorn is being allowed to work at this point in time.
And Deval thrown up there on the high ground. Liz, oh, taken out before he can pop the tac visor all the way. Meanwhile, Birdring's got it. Liz was his first victim before he ulted. Nano boost gone now. Diva's not going to last too much longer. There's the self-destruct. Got to watch out for that. Can they get the Diva before she gets back in her suit? Not quite. Birdring with the kill onto Sleepy Bear, so this has been KongDoo's probably best push yet. Liz back down there. Oh, gets the kill onto Dance. Did I say best push yet? I mean, I guess I meant it, but Spirit turns it around once again.
Well, Youngoo and Self-Destruct really just bought time for Liz to respawn when they knew they had a nano visor of their own that they could counteract.
I mean, I just don't think KongDoo's too worried about tying this one.
I mean, they are certainly
they
not
should be,
playing
but-
very well right now. That's
Yeah.
true.
I'm not saying whether or not that's a good way to play it. It just, to me, that's what it seems like right now, you know?
We'll see. They've got time for one last push. They are tentatively going to have a sound barrier for this. They're going to use a pulse bomb to clear out the turret, even though Twilight doesn't have his ult.
All right. That'll do it, I guess. Dan's trying to get in the back line on the Ana right now. Oporochi having to back away does go down, so the Ana's out of the way. Birdring comes in, claims one for himself too. KongDoo Uncia pushing ahead. They're going to use the sound barrier, but better time that time. Dance gets another kill, and they're finally taking this point. Wow, is this what happens when KongDoo gets serious? Birdring has that attack visor ready to go. There goes Sleepy Bear, and suddenly KongDoo just looking unstoppable. Liz kind of on his own there up on the top. And he's not going to last long against that tac visor. No, there's another kill for Birdring. They've nearly got it already, but here comes the big Earth Shatter. Yeah, CONBOX fighting back here, but Panker gets one before he goes down. Can they possibly close this one out right
Butcher
here, right now?
On the Bastion in
They
the
get
back.
it.
Oh, wow.
Are you kidding me?
Butcher
What an end.
Came back and sat on the bridge to point A on the ground, or point B on the ground floor in the Bastion to help clear out that last fight. And even though Panker went down just as he got his Earth Shatter up and he couldn't use his ultimate, wow, they still pull it out in OT.
That was just kind of disgusting, actually, man. KongDoo Uncia just kind of messing around like, I guess we want to win 3-0, so here you go.
Their communication around their ultimates is so splendid. You could really see when we were watching from Birdring's perspective that he was trying so hard to save that tac visor until the reinforcements came streaming in, and they didn't have a choice but to go quickly and defensively onto the point. Had to use it a little bit earlier than he wanted to, but the enemy soldier drops down, and that's going to be it. A strong finish for KongDoo Uncia, and that was an impressive display of dominance from this extremely good team.
Wow. Yeah, we were kind of thinking it would be one-sided going into it, but it certainly was. You have to give a little bit of credit to CONBOX Spirit, though. I mean, they did show signs of life from here, here and there. Sleepy Bear had some good plays on the Roadhog. They had some pretty good pushes, had some pretty good combos at different points on King's Row. So there's something there. There's something in this team, but I think it is really, like you said at the beginning of this match, where they're in a tough group and they just don't quite have everything together yet to compete with this level of team.
And KongDoo, their positioning has been among the best, if not the best, we've seen so far this tournament. They have so many basically ulterior positions. If they know how to read a composition, and they know how it's going to play, and they know how to react to that as a six-man unit nearly instantly. Very impressive.
That's right. Well, when we come back, our second match of the day, it's going to be KongDoo Panthera taking on Runaway. And as one-sided as this one was, the next match I think could end up being very, very close. And